Hello everyone! Welcome to a new video. Today I am making a very special one since I'll be sharing with you our first real estate investment property in Spain. And when I say we, I basically say my mother because it was her money put into that, but I also feel as if it was partly mine because I was helping her throughout the whole process. And trust me that it was a lot of fun checking out properties, deciding on the one, and just the whole process overall. But the best part is when you actually start renting the property and generating cash flow every month. Actually, no, this is not the best part. The best part of this real estate investment is when yes, you that you're watching the video, when you hit that like button which is just here below and subscribe to the channel. This is literally the best thing out of it. So just to put you a bit in context, we bought this property back in September 2019. And this property is located in the province of Girona, Spain. The apartment is not very big, but it's enough with a couple, with or without a child. Moreover, and one of the most important things, at least from my point of view when looking for properties, it is in a nice area and the common facilities of the building are well kept. And I see that this is super important since when you're buying a real estate property, you also need to look at how easily will you be able to rent the property. Usually, the nicer the property, and now I'm not talking, about luxurious things or anything, the more people you have interested on your listing. And the more people you have interested, the higher the rent you can charge. Not only that, but being in a very good area of a city is a very strategic point. Because as the city continues to grow and prices rise, the value of the property and the prices might increase even more than the average of the city or town. While if you buy a very cheap property that maybe also offers you kind of the same returns but in a very bad area, or maybe the property is not in such good state, the future perspectives of it are maybe not so good. And when you consider investing in real estate and renting a property out, you are basically looking at the long term. So this is super important. And just one final point of consideration before I move on into the returns that we're actually making from this property. Something super important and also why I think it's very important to buy properties in nice areas and areas where you see future potential in is that if you ever were to sell it, which I would definitely not advise, but I mean if you ever were to need the money or if you just wanted to sell it, it is just much easier to sell it if the property is located in a nice area. Just to illustrate very quickly an example, I know of properties in the area where I come from in Spain that have been on the market to sell for more than 2 years now. So imagine that you really need the money now, but it takes 2 years to sell the property. I mean, this is really bad, and it's something that it is very important to consider the area in which the property is located and so on in terms of for future perspectives. In any case, let's leave all of these kind of suggestions based on the personal experience and so on, and go over the returns that we are making from the property that we ended up buying. First important, and I would say very, very, very important thing is the buying price of the property. In our case, it was of a total of 94,600 euros, which includes the 86,000 that the property costed itself, plus all the administrative fees and commissions for the broker and so on, of 8,600 euros. Moreover, in terms of initial cost, in order to get the apartment ready to be able to rent it, we spent 679 euros. This was mostly in furniture and small repairs. I will leave the whole list here, but it was basically things such as to paint the apartment, very important, change the smoke extractor in fan in the kitchen that was not working, put a new washing machine, buy a mattress, make an extra copy of the keys of the apartment, and change the light bulbs. Therefore, our complete initial investment before the first tenants moved in was of 95,279 euros. Now let's look at how much are we renting this apartment for. In this case, we are renting it long term, so no Airbnb or anything like that, and we are renting it for 430 euros a month. Which means that we are cashing in gross 5,160 euros every year, and I say gross because of course we now need to deduct all the expenses that we have that in my opinion are not very high. EV. This is basically the tax that you need to pay to the state in order to have and own this property. And this is of a cost of 220 euros per year. Community costs. These are the costs associated with maintaining the common areas of the building clean, so basically the staircase and so on, but also to keep the elevator running, since the building also has an elevator. In our case, it is a pretty big building of apartments, so this also reduces the cost for each apartment, and in total we pay 450 euros per year. House insurance. Although the tenant must have an insurance, at least in Spain, when entering the property, it is very hard to control whether this tenant keeps paying this insurance as time goes by. So something super important is to have also an insurance, you as an owner, just kind of like a backup. Because imagine that suddenly there is a fire in your building and your tenant was not paying their insurance, then you're left with nothing. And with this insurance, in our case it costs only 105 euros per year. You are safe in case a major event like this happens. Management company. And yes, we did take a management company to take care of our apartment. This means that they are in charge of getting the tenant to the apartment, but also of receiving all the calls, and they then prepare all the reports of, expenses and so on for us every year. Just for the record, we are super happy currently with the management company that we have, and to me, this is the difference, hiring a management company versus not hiring it, between having an active investment that requires you involving time in it, or a completely passive one. Because if you want to take care of this, and trust me that we tried, I made a video on Airbnb in how much we made a year, that I will leave it here just above for you, but it requires a lot of your time. Maybe it's not very constantly that you get calls or problems or whatever, but when this happens, it means that something big is going on. Sometimes it's maybe there's a leak from the apartment upstairs and so on, and it's just, a lot of a headache, and when you have a management company taking care of it, it's just like kind of, you get rid of these headaches. And from my point of view, it is also advisable not to have direct contact with your tenants. Because in the end, this is an investment, and getting emotionally attached to your tenants is a bad option. To have this management company, we pay 240 euros per year, which equals 20 euros per month, which in my opinion is really worth having. Rent insurance. This is an insurance that you basically can opt to when you get your tenants, and that ensures that you will get paid every month, every single month, even if the tenants stop paying. In my opinion, this is key as well, because in the end, the final yearly return between hiring or not hiring this insurance is relatively low, but the consequences of actually getting a tenant that at some point stops paying your rent can be much worse than just getting this insurance. Because imagine that you don't have the insurance, you get always tenants that pay your rent on time, and throughout 10 years of renting, you never have a problem. But then on the 10th year, you have a tenant that stops paying, they don't want to leave the apartment, and you have the apartment blocked for 1 full year, you need to pay lawyers and so on, and everything that you had gained from these 10 years of not having the insurance and getting good tenants and so on, you just lost it in 1 year. So the cost of this insurance is of 234 euros per year. And I have a final section, which is additional cost, in which I budgeted 200 euros per year, just to be sure that we can cover any expenses that as owners need to take care of. And also I feel like this gives me a much more clear view of which is the actual return on investment that we are getting. Adding all of these costs, we see that we are spending 1,449 euros per year. This leads to an earnings before taxes, so EBT, of 3,711 euros, which represents a 3.89% return on investment. And now we will exclude other deductions that we could do, such as amortization or depreciation for the building and the furniture that you have in it. And we will just say that we are taxed from the amount that I just said, 19%, which is what it's set by law. Therefore, we are left with a theoretical net profit of 3,005.91 euros, which represents a 3.15% net return on investment. This can basically be seen as the dividends that you collect from your investment if we were to translate this into the stock market. Actually, now you should probably go and see a video that I just published not long ago. I will actually leave it above here for you, in which I basically explained how you can make even higher returns by making use of leverage, which in real estate is relatively easy to access. Because if we were to do that with this property, we would be making a yearly return surely above 6%. In any case, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and see you next time.